What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Uberkooledgarage. Long time no see. That is due to my work schedule being absolutely insane. I have been slammed busy. So I'm starting to fall behind on work and house chores and car stuff. So I've been trying to get as much done as I physically can. In the last couple weeks, I have been able to get out into the garage and tinker with both the cars a little bit. We have gotten quite a bit done on Ryan's car, started getting stuff situated, and we'll hop into that in this episode. As far as the bug, if you guys didn't see the short that I posted, I believe yesterday, go check that out. It's kind of a little sneak peek of the bug. That video will probably be coming out, I would say, in a week or two, hopefully, as long as I can get out of the house after work. So let's go ahead and hop into this episode and get as much done on Ryan's car as we can. Hope you guys enjoy. Well, after talking to Ryan about the car, we're going to order half pans, maybe full pans, passenger and driver. So we'll end up getting those replaced. He said he got those on order, but today I got the nose, the entire nose. So apparently somebody has already replaced the whole nose of the car. They did a really good job of hiding it. But then after they replaced the nose, I'm assuming somebody hit it up front. So you can see that there is a ton of Bondo on the front of this. So went ahead, ordered a new nose. We will end up cutting this out. I got a couple cool little things that I'm going to do with the nose of this, as well as the hood. So we'll get more into that once we start cutting all this out, and then I'll give you a rundown of kind of what's going on. With the nose off, I'm going to go ahead and get the radiator completely set in there, all sealed off, get the fan on there, and then I'll start running all of my pipes that run to the back of the car for the radiator system. So we'll get this nose cut off and start getting everything situated, getting everything marked up, good to go. I'm going to, at that point, hop in and do the master cylinder and try and figure out what I'm going to do for a clutch system with a hydraulic clutch. And I'll probably end up going through and cleaning a lot of this stuff up in this area up top while we wait for other parts. I'm going to get all my wires and everything for the engine plugged in, get all that all set up, and then we should be pretty darn close to starting it. I know I keep saying it. Life has been absolutely insane lately. As you can see, the garage is a disaster. I'm doing a full clean out of the garage. Our area does a trash cleanup, so basically put all your crap in a pile and they come up, scoop it up, and take it away. So I am completely reorganizing everything, getting everything all situated, clean in the garage, and then we will continue jamming on this. I'm also going to go ahead and get the rear apron section, brackets and all that stuff done. That way it's out of the way. I'll do the bed line on all of this, and then after we get the floors in, then we can figure out how to mount the seats and seat belts and all of that. And once that section goes in, then we can start figuring out the shift linkage and all that. So still quite a bit of work to do on Ryan's car, but we did make quite a bit of progress in the last video. I also have to cut the wheel arches out more and get the over fenders kind of set where they need to. But let's go ahead and start jumping into the radiator system, start knocking that out. I am going to see if I can do something a little bit different with the fuel system back here. I just want to reroute some lines and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and hop into it and get as much progress done on this as we physically can. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and get these fender arches cut out so that I can push the car around without using the jack to jack up the rear end and pull it that way. So let's get these cut out and then we'll hop into all the other projects. All right, guys, so you just saw me get the rear fender flare on. Went ahead and cut the outer fender all the way up and around, folded in the flanges. I still have to, I'm gonna go through and weld the flanges to the outer fender, and then still not 100% sure on how I'm gonna seal all that. But I got driver's side done, or passenger side, and I went ahead and did the driver's side off camera. So both of those are done. The car now rolls back and forth without rubbing anything. It does kind of look like both of the tires are towed in a little bit, so I'll have to get measurements on that and readjust rear suspension a tiny bit. But let's now that everything rolls, I'm going to go ahead and hop up here to the front. I'll push the car back. You can see I have some of the nose marked out on both sides. So I'm going to rough cut inside of those lines quite a bit, all the way down and around. We'll pull the nose off, and then we'll start fitting up this new one. Ryan and I talked, I think we're going to open these up just a little bit more, kind of a different shape. And then he was saying something about 3D printing in his own vents in here. So it'll be pretty cool. Get all that situated. I do have an idea for the actual vents themselves. So normally all of this filters in this way that leads fresh air into the car. I think we decided on deleting that fresh air into the car. And probably what I'll do is I'll build a scoop that comes in from here and then cuts back in. That way this whole entire vent on both sides pushes air into the radiator. as well as we're gonna leave the horn opening, so that'll force in quite a bit of air. He does have a front valance for it, or front air dam, whatever you want to call it. So he'll put that on. That'll actually help force air into the horn vent as well. So we're gonna do that. And then we have talked about venting out of the hood. So we'll go ahead and do that as well. End up cutting in probably 2 vents, one on each side, just a small opening. That way the air is forced into the front and out the hood. Very typical kind of Porsche style radiator system. So we'll do that, get all this stuff cut and set in place, and just start finishing off little bits here and there. I still have to go through the wiring. I still have to hook up the master cylinder. Hopefully at this point, work will kind of calm down just enough for me to spend a little bit more time in the garage. So I'm gonna start jamming on both projects and get them both on the road. Well, no more nose on this Ghia. As you can see, every single time that I touch the car, big old pile of dirt / rust, leaves, all kinds of stuff come out of it. But like I said, I think in the last video, the more that comes off of it, the cleaner the car gets. So this is all cut out now. The nose just barely fits over top of this right now, so I do have to trim back this area here just a little bit. I think this area might be right where it needs to be, so I'll have to grind down some of this and then grind down a little bit further here on both sides, and the radiator will go in. So the radiator is actually going to sit closer down here and then come up at an angle this way and sit towards the front of this. That way when I build the duct that exits the fan or exits the radiator, that will force air up. So the idea is the air is going to scoop in and then come up through the hood. So I'm planning on notching these back just a little bit, and then where the actual hood vents are, I'll build ducts that come in this way, that scoop air that way, and push all the air into the front of the radiator, as well as is noticing that this does not have a horn hole or bumper mounts. So I'll have to talk to Ryan, figure out what we want to do with this. I would almost do maybe 3 little speed holes, and then I can put a grill behind it and then he can paint match it to the car, and it'll kind of blend in, but you'll still be able to notice that there's grills down there, so it'll give it a little bit more of a race car-y look, and that'll actually force a ton of air up into the radiator, which this radiator that he has is pretty small, so I think that will help immensely if we do something along those lines. So we'll start fitting the radiator, get all that stuff situated, and then start building the shroud, I think, that goes around the radiator. That way everything's forced into the radiator, and then it'll come out. That way nothing bypasses the radiator. So I think I'll probably build the shroud around this, get the radiator set where it needs to be, start getting the nose piece set in where it needs to be, and then we'll start figuring out radiator lines and everything like that. On my car, I did not have a front sway bar, so that might be a little bit interesting. Or actually, Zach's car. My car, I ran my radiator tubes through the center tunnel. But with this car and Zach's car, I'm gonna go underneath. So should be a little bit different, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, and we'll figure it out. So let's start getting this radiator all set up. Well, here's the beginning of the shrouding. Radiator is still loose. Yes, I have that strap in there, but I think I'm going to change that. This side of the underbody is pushed down a little bit. So once that gets pushed up, the radiator will kick over just a little bit. There's just one section there that's pushed down, or possibly that side's pushed up. So I'll look into that, see what it is. So the beginning of the shrouding, I'm still trying to decide on what I'm going to do on the bottom. I don't know if I'm going to tack weld in a plate in front of these that kind of holds the whole shrouding in, and then the top section here will have another piece. Still not 100% sure on how I'm going to tie that in either, but this is a start. You saw me put in the nut certs. I have those on both sides, just 2 of them. So once I figure out the bottom and the top, I think I might do another nutsert there and one there, maybe one on the bottom on each side as well, just to hold all of that stuff. I am going to order weather stripping to go in this section here. You can see that there's a gap on both sides of the radiator. So weather stripping will go on that, basically around the actual shroud. That way it seals the radiator to this section of the shroud. And then you can see that actually all of this has obviously been in a wreck. So when I was talking to Ryan, he sent me a picture. I'll probably post that picture here right now. So you can see in the picture that the front grills on the picture are a little bit bigger. He drew that up. So what I'm gonna end up doing is, this is where the original vent was, and then it vented back into this. So what we're gonna end up doing is, you can see my line here. I'm gonna cut that back right to the shroud and cut it a little bit bigger than what it was. I'll get rid of this whole section here on both sides. That way it opens up a lot bigger duct. And then I will form kind of an elbow in. The elbows in, and I'll weld all of that into here. And then when we put the nose cone piece on, I'll put weather stripping around the nose cone piece, so when we get it all welded in, it'll actually seal all the way around it. That way the entirety of the grill is open to the radiator area, so that'll force everything into the radiator. And then if you noticed on the hood, there's vents on the hood. So basically what I'm planning on doing is going off of this shroud, the front shroud here, and making a scoop that scoops up like this. So we'll get that situated once we get the front shroud done. And then we'll mark out the hood, get the hood cut, get the nose cut, and then we'll do final trim on all of this stuff to get the nose back on. But I want to finish the majority of this while it's open. That way I have plenty of room to work and figure everything out and get it all situated. And then we'll keep pushing forward. We'll get the radiator lines in and start finishing up all the little stuff. But it is coming along, and I feel like this is going to be pretty cool when it's done. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you this week. Well, these last couple weeks. But hopefully everything kind of dies down. We'll definitely get into more videos. Do have a lot of cool stuff coming up. Bug content, Ryan's car content. Want to try and get Ryan's car done as soon as I can. I feel super bad for having it as long as I have. I know he's not really in too big of a rush, but it still makes me feel bad that I've had it this long. I wish I could change my work schedule around a little bit. Unfortunately, I can't. All of our customers are all kind of pushing all at the same time to get everything done. So we have roughly 6 to 8 jobs going at the moment. So I'm kind of bouncing around all over the place, and I'm all over Northern California. So a lot of driving, a lot of working. Hopefully we kind of catch up on all of those. That way I can start getting into the garage a little bit more. But let's go ahead and end off this episode. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys.